And I hope things are going well for you on this very chilly Friday. I'm Julie Broughton. It is 12:30. This is Take 6, your afternoon news brief, where we get you caught up on some things we're working on here in our News 6 newsroom. And we will have a check of your weekend forecast and take a look ahead to your Thanksgiving forecast for you coming up in just a few minutes. But today we have a very fun show for you. Our News 6 digital journalist, Haley Coombs, will be here coming up in just a few minutes. And she is talking all things Epic Universe. That is set to open 6 months from today, so we are excited about that. And she also has some breaking theme park news, which I'm very excited about because it does involve Muppets. But your forecast, if you were stepping out the door this morning, you know that it was on the chilly side. We started out in a lot of spots in the 40s, and I will go ahead and give you a little tease of the forecast. We're going to get even cooler overnight tonight and could even see some areas of patchy frost. More on that in just a few moments. But first, here is Haley Coombs, our digital journalist and theme park expert. Haley, I know we are excited to talk about Epic Universe, but I think you have some exciting news before we get to that. And I will tell you, this is the first time I've ever said this on TV or on a stream. You are joining us with breaking Muppet news. Isn't that exciting?
Yes. And as a fan of the Muppet Show and even just working in news, I don't think there's a better opportunity, and I'll never get this opportunity again, to say, this is a Muppet news flash. Yes, and exciting how it could be depending on how you see it, because I know a lot of fans, once the announcements came about D23 that Disney's Hollywood Studios was getting a Monsters Inc. land, there was a lot of speculation that this would be taking over the beloved Muppet Courtyard. And yes, Disney confirmed today that is going to be true. So, and the Muppet Courtyard is, of course, home to Muppet 3D Vision, or Muppet Vision 3D. So it's going to be, the curtain's going to come down on a beloved attraction, and this has years, dedicated there at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So yeah, disappointment probably with a lot of fans, but in the meantime, though, Muppets will live on, not just in our hearts, not just on the movies and the streaming, but yes, they will live on at this place, Rock and Roller Coaster, starring Aerosmith. So yeah, Sky Six was over the park today, and just even seeing some of this area, I mean, we know and love so well, but still, it's going to be a big change coming up.
It is going to be a big change. I will tell you, Rock and Roller Coaster is one of my favorite rides. And if I can ride in a stretch limo with Miss Piggy, that will just make all of my dreams come true. I mean, we don't know exactly how it's going to go, right?
Yes, for sure. I mean, there were rumors out there that a retheming was in the works and Muppets was on the table. But yes, I'm looking forward to it as well. And when you think about it, this is a classic coaster. Everyone knows and loves the whole process of going through the studio, meeting the band Aerosmith, and then getting in the stretch limo and then going to their shows. But now seeing that Aerosmith is retired, so that story is kind of stale if you think about it. So, but yeah, moving forward and having another Disney IP take over the spot, and yes, the Muppets, and I agree, Miss Piggy, absolutely. And I just imagine you'll be hearing a lot of sounds of Dr. Teeth in the
Yes.
mayhem. So, yeah.
It sounds good. Miss Piggy is one of my personal heroes, so I'm very excited for the Muppet news. But what you are here to talk about today, also exciting news. 6 months from today, Epic Universe opens, and so you have some things to cover on that. We're talking about 5 distinct lands, some hotels. Just a lot of people are beyond excited about this.
Yeah. And it hit me last week when I was talking to our news director, and yes, today marks 6 months from the opening day. And I remember talking to you last summer, even when these worlds were getting their proper introductions, and just like, oh yeah, we're probably like, roughly a year away. We didn't know. And yeah, I'm 6 months away before Central Florida has its next major theme park, the first one in what will be 26 years. So, I mean, that is a significant amount of time that we're looking at. So
Yeah, it is. And I know you've been out there lately. You were out there near there in Results One with Trooper Steve, and lots of progress is being made out there.
definitely, we we hopped in the Results one, and we went out there a couple months ago just to kind of get the lay of the land and the construction. And this time, we started at Carrier Drive again on Kirkman, and then the traffic pattern has changed. We've gone up to the Sand Lake Road bridge. Eventually it'll extend into the park, but just seeing the Helios Grand Hotel on the horizon going up there, and it that right there kind of took my breath away in a sense.
Hmm.
Like, oh man, this is it. This will be the introduction to a lot of people coming in from out of town, tourists, to seeing that. And then the sister Celestial hotels that we're looking at right now, the Stella Nova Hotel, opens in 2 months. So really, the timeline, we are picking up speed here. So
Yeah, and you've talked about the what dark, let's see, dark world, dark universe. Dark universe, you were on talking about that as some of the
hmm
monsters were introduced. We've had a look from Sky 6 at some going on in, let's see, Super Nintendo World. I wanted to call it Mario Kart World. You can tell where my brain is. I mean, that's, kind of accurate, but we're getting a
it
lot
is.
more of a glimpse of how everything is shaping up.
Yeah. I really wanted to look at Super Nintendo World, how it's evolving right now, because Universal Studios Japan just announced that it's opening Donkey Kong Country officially next month, December 11th. So obviously we can see it's going to be very comparable here. It's going to have Donkey Kong's Treehouse, and then the main attraction, the only attraction in there, is going to be Minecart Madness. So, but yeah, this is actual footage out of Japan. Like
Wow.
when I see this, it, it looks like animated, so unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, the track itself, a lot of people are excited about this ride because it's going to have the illusion that you're jumping the track like in the classic video game,
Yes.
but it's going to have that arm underneath or attached to the car, and then a track underneath to create that effect. So, but yeah, this is a POV of, going out of the first launch barrel. So, and then yes, but yeah, I mean, and I believe the theme is you need to try to capture a golden banana or something like
Okay.
that. So
Yes. I mean, you got to do that, right?
yeah, and it's another Universal character, like, banana theme. Move over minions. We already have, the original banana.
Yes.
With Donkey Kong. So, but
And
I know, I just can't believe it.
it's so close. And I know you've talked a lot about the 3D model or the interactive model that you've been
Mhm.
out there and experienced. I mean, there's so much to look forward to with this.
Yes, I can't recommend that preview store enough. That model, it's so much fun. You download an Epic Universe preview store specific app for it that you look at it, and you have the augmented reality looking at it all. And I was out there the other day because I hadn't seen Harry Potter Ministry of Magic updated since it was the first announced. So I went out there and saw, and of course, the main attraction there, the Battle of the Ministry. I cannot get over the size of the show building there. And then seeing the images this week as we transition right into it. These are actual photos within the ride. These aren't just concept art,
Mm,
which honestly, you look at it, you're like, really? That's not concept art? I mean, how visually stunning is that?
that's beautiful.
Yeah, and hearing about what is all included in this attraction, it is so elaborate. There's going to be all these different departments within the Ministry of Magic, if you're familiar with the story, and it's going to have a long, elaborate queue. The queue starts with the Floo network, so it's going to have that Floo effect with all the green smoke that Harry and used for time travel, or travel, I should say. And I'm in such awe of all these attention to detail, like the subway tile. I mean, I saw a number of how many it's in there. It's
Wow.
unbelievable. And then, yes, you're there to witness the trial of Dolores Umbridge, of course, the infamous uh, former dark arts teacher that was in the fifth book and movie that everyone loves to hate, and she's on trial for her crimes against muggles, so,
Oh,
which
wow.
is very bad, which I've heard. So but yeah, then she escapes in the attraction, and then one of those images that we see right here is the actual ride vehicle, which is a lift. So you'll be
Wow.
entering a lift
Okay.
bay, and then you can imagine, because you think lift, you're like, oh, am I just going to go up and down like a free fall
Hmm.
ride? No, I think this is just going to be one of those trackless experiences where you're going to be
Oh,
whipped around and encounter Death Eaters and all sorts of characters that we know Universal has set the bar high for Harry Potter rides. So
I mean, every image we see, it just is more stunning than the rest. And I think the last time you were on is when we got to see the reveal of the monsters from Dark
Yep.
Universe. And that, the Frankenstein and all of that was just absolutely mind blowing. Have we seen any more of the monsters since then? Have they released any more video or pictures of different ones we hadn't seen yet?
No, they have not. I know. I'm very eager to see, especially like the Mummy or even the Phantom of the Opera is going to its own figure. So I'm very eager to find. I mean, just seeing those few monsters before was, yeah,
Yes.
your eyes got so big seeing what they're capable of and turning the design. Yeah.
Yes. Now, I know that you have been getting a lot of questions from viewers about Epic Universe, a lot of questions maybe from your friends and family and people here in the newsroom. I know you've gone through some of those, and we are going to take a short break. And when we come back, you will be answering some of the most common questions that you've gotten. So stick around. We will be back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Take Six here at 1243. I'm Julie Broughton. If you are just joining us, we've been having a fun discussion today with our digital journalist and theme park expert, Haley Coombs. In case you didn't know, 6 months from today, Epic Universe will open at Universal Orlando. So a lot of people are very excited about that. And Haley, you have been getting so many questions online and in the newsroom and in person. So you're going to go through some of those questions and tell us what we all need to know.
Yeah, and when it comes to Epic Universe, I'm usually the one asking questions, and it's just to have conversation, be like, what are you most excited about, or what's your hype list? So to actually get some questions about the development, I was very happy to answer and very happy to get. So I know one of the questions that we got was from Anthony. What are the plans for a soft opening, if any? So, in a letter sent to pass holders, they did mention that there is going to be a soft opening for pass holders. Now, when it is, not sure. They have not mentioned anything about a soft opening for general guest. So, but the one thing that I can, add to that is whenever there's been soft openings at any theme park or any specific attraction, one thing to keep in mind is that the hours could be very small, not a big window when you go. And then also, keep in mind that a lot of attractions may not be open too. So, and that's leading up to the opening day, which is May 22nd. So that is my, things to, keep in mind if, you're waiting to wanting to do a soft opening. So, but yes, there is soft opening for pass holders. They have not expressed, or they meaning Universal has not expressed anything for, the general guest. So
Yeah, and we are looking at video, obviously, of Super Nintendo World, and it just feels like you're in the game.
Yeah, right? I mean, and the fact that you can have, the power-up bands and you
Mhm.
can light them up on, one of those like question cubes, anything to have make you have that gaming experience. I mean, really, they thought of everything. And yes, the colors is going to be so
Yes.
stunning in this
Yes.
land. Yeah.
Yes, I can't wait
So
to see that. And so okay, so Anthony asked about soft openings. What else are you hearing from people?
I had a question from Tim. Will there be express passes? Eventually, yes, there will be, as well as the VIP tours. But seeing that Universal, when they laid out these ticket packages in mind to try to control crowds, they're not going to have express passes just yet upon opening them. They haven't said like how long after, but yes, there will be express passes, like the classic experience over at the
Mhm.
other main campus. So yes.
We just have to wait a little bit to find out more about that.
Yes, yes, for sure. And then he also asked another question. Um, is Dark Universe scary? I really liked this question, and
Yeah.
I was happy to answer this. So, Dark Universe was actually the first world that the creative team knew they wanted to make for Epic Universe. And they wanted to give a place dedicated for their classic Universal monsters. So the park is labeled family friendly. Family friendly. Their roller coaster, Curse the Werewolf, is a family friendly roller coaster. So all in all, yeah, it is family friendly. But when you think about the main attraction, the flagship attraction, which is Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment, um, there will be jump scares, I've heard, in the queue, and those animatronic figures that we saw
Mhm.
of Dracula and Frankenstein. So there will be some moments that make your heart pound and all of that. So, and how I think about it too is that these monsters are featured all the time, year after year, usually in Halloween Horror Nights. And Halloween Horror Nights, it always has that disclaimer of, this event is for mature audiences. They don't recommend anyone under 13. So while this world does not have that disclaimer, I think you can kind of judge, that can be a good scale for you
Mhm.
because family friendly, Halloween Horror Nights. So there you go. And also Universal really wants this to be a love letter to the classic catalog. I mean, because they're not bad. They're just misunderstood. They're appreciated. So, and that's where you can go and do this. So if you go in thinking about it that way, I think
Mhm.
this will be like maybe your favorite land. So
Yeah, I'm actually very excited about that one. And also, it's something where maybe if you're thinking of taking your kids who are, 8, 9, you know your kids, so you know what's going to be
yes.
too intense for them, and so you can make that call. But that is a good question. I like it. It definitely looks intense, but I like that they're misunderstood. We can all
Yeah.
identify with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And speaking of kids, the other land that is definitely catered for them, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk, which I mean, I'm excited about everyone, but this one,
Hmm.
I just gush at it so much. I mean, all these is supposed to have intricate wood carving, and this is the main family coaster there, wing gliders. This is supposed to have that visual effect of, you know, the water swoosh going in the water. So, but one of the questions I got was, will there be what are the dragons like there? I
Hmm.
mean, duh, you're in Isle of Berk. What is it going to be like? So there will be flying dragons. I'm told this was more of a drone effect, and I even seen footage of like a landing area behind the park that will most likely be for however big the dragon is. So, and there's going to be the dedicated show there is the untrainable dragon. So, and again, the concept art there, they show Hiccup on, uh, um, yeah, Hiccup on Toothless. So
Okay.
how they're going to make it happen, I'm not sure. That is one thing that I am very much looking forward to is
Yes.
seeing how these dragons are going to fly. So, but yes.
When you said drone, I assume that means that I can't ride on one. So, but we can't have it all, I guess.
I guess not. Yeah.
All right. Are you getting any other good questions you need to share?
Let's see. Oh, and one question goes back to Harry Potter.
Okay.
There was one. Why is it called the Ministry of Magic? And when it takes place, the main thoroughfare is straight out of Paris. So if if you Universal mentioned that, the two lands that we already have, Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley, they're set in London. And now they really wanted to expand because the wizarding world isn't just in the UK, it's beyond. So they're incorporating 1920s Paris, and that's when we can see the stories of the stories. I'm blanking out on the magical creatures. Thank you. So, but yeah, and so that's going to be the main entrance area, and then the way you get from one world to another is through the Floo network. But so yeah, you're going from 1920s Paris to the modern day Ministry of Magic. But yeah, it's basically because they wanted to expand. They wanted to incorporate, you know, other worlds or the other timeline, countries into the wizarding world. So that's why we have 1920s Paris.
My gosh, I feel like there's so much going on that you couldn't possibly do it all in one day. You just need really good planning. You just will have to plan it for us to hit the highlights.
I know. And then, because, again, going back to the package offerings, you have to either have a 2, 3, or excuse me, yeah, 2, 3, no, 3, 4, 5 day ticket. There we go. 3, 4, 5 day ticket package. And in the order to get access to Epic Universe, you're allowed 1 day. So,
Wow.
but I know you think about it and you're like, how do you accomplish 1 day there?
I know.
Yeah.
So for folks watching who say, "Hey, I have a question, I would like to ask Haley a question. How can people get in touch with you? How can people get your updates? All that good stuff.
Well, I am putting together my newsletter right now, In the Loop Theme Park Scoop. You can sign up for free at clickorlando.com/newsletters. Any article on the theme park section of clickorlando.com, so clickorlando.com/theme parks. My name is on the byline, usually, maybe 80% of them. So you can always click there and ask me a question, email me, but I'm also on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. So, but I'd love to hear also, from any subscriber to the In the Loop Theme Park Scoop. So I know we always say on there send Fridays at 10 a.m., but based on what comes out, it's, it can be flexible. It can be that usually sometime on Friday.
Yeah, it's a big job. And like you said, you had Breaking Muppet News. So that was...
Exactly. Exactly. So that is a case in point.
Although I saw that was already pushed out. I did get your alert when that was pushed out. So you're already on top of that.
I'm glad I didn't send out my newsletter, though. I mean, because that is pertinent news.
Yes, it
for
is.
Muppet Disney fans. So, yes.
All right, Haley, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today. I know you always have a lot going on. This was fun, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.